What's good everyone? Welcome back to another video. So sorry I did not have any videos the last 2 weeks as I was busy with school and stuff. But anyway, I'm back with a new banger video, and this video was requested by someone from my Discord asking me how I find my key levels on the charts regardless of coins or what. It's all still the same method, and in this video I'm going through how I find them, so stay tuned. Okay, so for this example, I want to use this ETH chart. Okay, I did not have any drawings on this chart yet, and I'm going to show you how I find my key levels from this naked chart. So usually I start off on the higher time frames. Of course, you can start off with the quarterly chart or the monthly chart. Well, if you have a lot of data, which most altcoins do not have, I will just start off with the monthly because that's usually enough to identify key levels. So anyway, it's very simple. I usually just mark the highs and the lows. So for example, as you can see on the latest ETH chart from around the 2021s to the 2022 regions, can easily just mark out simple levels like the top of the range over here, 4868. That's one of my key levels. You can see it broke down, create a lower high. That will be my next key level. And you also can mark the lows. Very simply over here, this would be a key level over here. So just basically seeing structure, that is mainly my key levels. Okay, another one will be around here. You can see when price comes down, okay, this level is acting as support. You can see ETH bounce here for 3 months straight, holding this support level before pushing up to a new high. And similarly, we can create this key level over here as a zone. You see, I sometimes use the wicks, sometimes I use candle body closures as well, because if you can see, it lines up perfectly. The candle body closure level, price pushes up, comes back down to retest that exact same body candle level, and that is why this is my key level. And yeah, that's simply it. That is how I identify key levels on the higher time frame chart. Basically, I start with the monthly, then I just mark these few levels, and then you can label them as well. This was the January lows, the January 2022 lows. This was the highs of April. This was the lows of June. Simply, that's about it. These levels usually come into confluence. You can see over here when price started to range last year at the second half of the year, price was kept below this support area turned resistance. See, monthly candles did not close above this level at all until just last month. Okay, and this could be a deviation, but I'm not going to talk about this for now. I'm only going to talk about how I create my key levels. That's roughly how I find my key levels. You see, you can mark out this area. So this was the Jan 2018 highs. This was another key area zone as well. You can see price, when it rejected off this resistance level, it came back down, deviate a little bit from the 2018 highs, and then started pushing out. You can see the reaction over here very cleanly, right? Alright, so apart from these support and resistance levels that I find, I sometimes also go to the yearly chart because sometimes it's important to see the yearly chart as well. Over here, you can see it lines up very nicely. This was 2017 candle closures. If you mark it very cleanly, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of these 4 years on ETH chart, it lies perfectly at this zone over here, 743. So it's highly likely, because you can see on the yearly chart for this year, ETH has not even created a bottom wick. Okay, maybe it created a very mini wick, but I still think that eventually ETH will come back and trade below these few levels and eventually tap this support area, which 4 years consecutively it has tapped this zone. Okay, So this is how I find potential support areas as well. You can go to the 12 month, the 6-month chart, the 3-month chart, whatever you prefer. This basically, it's much cleaner because you only have a few candles. Other than those key levels that I mentioned about on the higher time frame, I also find ranges in the charts. So for example, I want to find a when price is starting to range, I want to find a clear range high and a clear range low where I want to play with. So for example, I would want to use this area as a range high, okay, somewhere over here, maybe the candle body closure, and somewhere at the lows, I'll find this as a range low. Okay, so usually I like to find these ranges first, and I like to play at the extremities right now. So let's say if price starts to trade around here, I would start to look for trades and triggers depending on how price reacts at that particular range high or particular range low. Alright, so let's say, just giving you a scenario, if price pushes up, breaks above this range but comes back down and holds below, then that is my trigger to start shorting, because it gives me a higher probability chance that it is at a range high, it's kind of at resistance, therefore it has the highest probability that it will start to go down. That is one scenario. Okay, then my targets would definitely be alright. I will also try to find out the mid-range levels just using the fib, range high to range low. Just find the 0.5 area. It's about the 1462 areas. Okay, then just delete this. You can see the mid-range. See, it's acting as support most of the time for ETH the past few weeks. In January, it held support over here, broke down a little bit, but deviated from the mid-range, pushed back up, right? So this was a key area that ETH had to hold on the weekly chart, and then it started pushing up. So let's say if price of ETH really did break up and held below, then I'll start to aim for mid-range first, then the bottom range. Of course, this is on the weekly chart. You can even zoom in a little further in daily chart. You can just using the past 2 weeks, for example, you can identify a very nice range over here. I'll usually use the wicks as the range highs, and on the range lows, maybe around here. Okay, so very simply, when price starts to range for a long period of time, alright, just trade the extremities. As example, over here, price breaks apart, but came back down and held below. Then I would start to look for trades down to at least the mid-range and then to the range lows, which it kind of did. Alright, over here similarly, price breaks below the range low but deviates, comes back above. I would start to long over here, look for the mid-range and then the range highs, which it did as well. So right now, ETH is just in a tight range. I'm just waiting for triggers, whether price breaks up first, deviates below, comes back down, I'll target the mid bottom range again. Simple as that. Okay, if it finally breaks out, holds above, look for longs to the bigger range highs over here at around the 1930s and 1940s. Simple, right? So okay, that's about it from me. Hope I didn't drag this video too long. And remember, your markets are always here, but your capital may not. Peace.